Hello, Teacher Now. It's Neville Boone doing my final and last presentation with my mentor, Ms. Abbott. She'll be evaluating the totality of the progress that I achieved throughout the whole wonderful experience of being a teacher slash intern.
Hey Neville, I can't believe it's finally come to the end.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so I'm going to be reading from my computer screen the questions that they ask us. How does a candidate use knowledge about students' growth and development to design and implement developmentally appropriate and challenging learning experience? And I put that you were proficient in that because you do have an understanding of how students construct knowledge and acquire their skills. Plus, this class is a little bit different too, as far as we are skill building. And so I put you proficient. You did good in that. You understand their growth socially and emotionally as well. How does a candidate use knowledge about individual differences and diverse culture to develop inclusive learning environments that supports all students in meeting high standards? Again, you were proficient in that. I think you definitely make them feel valued, and you really pushed home about how they're a family and to respect each other, and when they're answering their questions to be respectful of that. So you did good with that. Standard 3, how does the candidate create environments that support individual and collaborative learning, positive social interaction, active engagement in learning, and self-motivation? And again, you were very proficient in that. You were good at organizing and allocating time and space for them to have study time and skills practice, and then of course when you're demonstrating the lessons as well. You were very respectful when you communicated with them, as well as then keeping them on task for being respectful. And of course, using interactive technology, which is not very hard in this class since this is Microsoft Office. Standard 4 dealt with content. How does the teacher understand subject area concepts and tools of inquiry to make the content accessible and attainable to all students? And again, you did use multiple representations and explanations to help students meet standards from real life to some of your videos that you share with them and some of the issues that we had going on in class, or even if it was just a little fun thing just to kind of put everybody at ease. And of course, you did make link to prior knowledge because our lessons build on that. And of course, the technology because we are Microsoft Office. So again, you were proficient with content knowledge. Application of content. How does the teacher understand subject area concepts and differing perspectives to engage students in critical thinking, creativity, and collaborative planning related to local and global issues? Proficient as well. You help them to develop their interdisciplinary skills and to understand problems and issues. Again, a lot of our content does focus on real-world issues and skills that they'll use when they get into the workforce. Especially, we talked about some soft skills in this class as well, which was you did a good job with that, and implementing new technology with that area as well. And of course, it does support literacy because all our students, they have to learn to read the business document, the directions to the document. Which is what in our content area, it wasn't just about reading a novel, it was about them reading the actual instructions and having an understanding of how to implement those. Standard 6 deals with assessment. How does the candidate use assessment methods to engage student in their own growth, monitor student progress, and guide the candidate's planning? Proficient. Because you were using both formative and summative assessments. We gave the performance testing. We also gave multiple choice testing, which Some students did better with multiple choice while others did better with performance. You also just observed and picked up on where some students were having issues. So definitely you used different types of assessment from observation to formal and such as that to determine their learning. Plus we could also, because we use PowerSchool, we could also see where they were and the questions they were missing as they took the test. So we hit it on all, or you hit it on all bases there. Standard 7, how does the candidate draw upon knowledge of content areas, curriculum, cross-disciplinary skills, pedagogy, as well as knowledge of students and the community context to plan instruction that supports each student in meeting rigorous learning? You're proficient here. Again, we talked a lot about, we followed the blueprints that were given to us, and even you knew where to find those in Moodle. So as well, we have a lot of tools at our fingertips that help us with this area as well. So it was just really a matter of following and implementing and make sure we were meeting the criteria and our timeline for that. Then Standard 8, how does the candidate use multiple instructional strategies to help students develop deep understanding of content areas and build skills for applying that knowledge in meaningful ways? You were proficient in that. You definitely asked questions to stimulate conversations in the classroom, from whether it dealt with the actual skills of that day or our soft skills that we've talked about, or just general real life situations, world situations that were going on. Professional learning and ethical practice. How does the candidate engage in professional learning opportunities and use evidence to evaluate his or her teaching practices as a basis for self-examination on meeting the needs of students? And again, we talked about this. We've been involved in several meetings that I've had to go to, from our local PLCs to our countywide PLCs. It was interesting to see how you picked up on some of our current teachers who weren't even using some of the tools that we have at hand, but yet you knew about them. And then you also were interested in, at one of our PLCs, that you were always interested in our PLC that dealt with, I'll tell you in a minute what it dealt with when we learned Padlet, and then you were able to take that information and implement it in one of our lessons as well, which was interesting. Then leadership and collaboration. How does the candidate seek leadership roles and opportunities to take responsibility for student growth, collaborate with the community members, and advance the profession? Again, you were proficient. You'd step right up to the plate in taking over some of my classes, in meeting with our administrators and some of our other key people in the county. So again, you did a great job with that. So overall, I think you are headed in the right direction to becoming a teacher, and it has been a pleasure working with you. I've learned some new things, and I'm glad I've had this opportunity with you.
I want to say thank you very much for the great opportunity as well, Ms. Abbott. You're the best mentor that I've actually had, and I think if you wasn't my mentor, I probably wouldn't even finish the program, and I really appreciate it.
Oh,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's Never Boom, sign off.